asked to briefly talk about how my grandparents have had an impact on my life. I've been blessed to actually meet and know all of my grandparents. And so that's not, everyone doesn't have that opportunity, but I was able to actually spend quality time with every last one of my grandparents. And each of them offered something a little differently too. A lot of people said that I looked and acted like my dad's mom, who she lived to actually be 100 years old. She was a God-fearing woman. And many say I look like her and had similar characteristics. But today I'm here to talk about my only living grandparent, and that is my grandmother Jewel Brown, who you all saw next to me. Many of you have already had the opportunity actually get a chance to meet her. And she's my mom's mom, and she's affectionately known as Gigi to our family. When my grandmother grew up, she actually grew up in a home where her mom didn't too much particularly care for her. She treated her kind of mean. She was the only child, and my grandfather loved my grandmother, and so I think there may have been some kind of envy as how much my grandfather actually loved my grandmother. But she's a native California. She's born in San Francisco right here, and my grandfather, he worked on the railroads, so she had a lot of the finer type of living. That he would bring home some of the shrimp and caviar and crab that they had, so she introduced me to those kind of things as well. But like I said, her lifestyle was a little bit different. She didn't grow up in the family where it was just raised by someone who was in the church. So it was just a little different for her. So at 15, at a very early age, she married my grandfather, Joe Perry. A lot of you may know him. He played for the 49ers. So he married at 15, had her first son at 16, her first daughter at 17, my mom at 18, and later on in life she had my uncle at 41. So he's five years older than me. So that's just kind of gives you just an overview. But my grandmother, even though her mom did not like her, she did the complete opposite. She loves her children. I mean, she loves her children and her grandchildren. And I get choked up because it's she spends quality time training them and teaching them. And she loves them to life. I mean, you can't mess with her children, And it's just from her coming from such a background where her mom didn't like her. She just did the total, complete opposite. That I honor her for that. I had the opportunity to actually watch my grandmother graduate from high school and also from college with her AA degree. She retired as a teacher of special education for many years. And I can go on and on about my grandma, but one incident that I do remember is that my mom, in 1980, she decided to move from Compton and bring my brother and myself here to live, because during that time, that's when the gangs and everything were kind of going around. So she wanted something different for us. So my mom moved us here in 1980, and my grandmother, she got her Camaro and drove up here from Compton to Sacramento all by herself, and that just taught me, a lot about being a woman and being strong and being able to do some things, and not being afraid or fearful. She loves to travel. She was a travel agent and was able to actually talk to people of various places all over the world. Another thing that I remember is my grandmother, around when she was in her 70s, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so she's a survivor of breast cancer as well. kind of funny because the doctor, I guess, when you have breast cancer, they kind of talk to you about reconstructive surgery. And so they talked to my grandma about reconstructive surgery, and she was like, "For what? What I need reconstructive surgery for? I don't really have none in the first place." She's just kind of real, and it touches me when you talk to her. She's going to tell you straight up. She gives it to you straight from the hip, and she will let you know exactly how it is. And I'm sure you guys have, those of you guys who have spoke to her have had the opportunity. But I was asked to talk about how she has really impacted my life. And just to sum it up, she's taught me just how to be a real person and to actually speak the truth and the things that I do. She's taught me as a woman that I can do anything that I set my mind to do, that even throughout all the obstacles, if I had bad situations or anything, I can still overcome and do whatever it is that I actually want to do. She's also taught me no matter where you begin, you have control of how it ends. And with God, He has control over your destiny. So if you put your trust and your faith in Him, He'll get you there. Just like from her not having a high school degree, but it did not deter her. She later on made sure that she was going to get that. From her mother treating her so poorly, she was determined to do the complete opposite and make sure that her children knew that she was loved. A lot of you talk about how my children are blessed, and I really give that to my grandmother, who passed it on to my mom, and has taught me the principles of God and making sure that we put God first, but also to train our children up in the admonition of the Lord, like Granny has said. And she just taught me how to be an excellent mother. That's something, there's no script or anything on how to actually be a mom. And just you learn sometimes from being from your parents. And I'm just grateful for her, and I just want her to know, and I'm glad I'm able to share with you the type of person that she is while she is living. She's 88 years old, and I just thank God for